So you've met this really great girl. She ticks all of the boxes. She's attractive. She's intelligent. She's well-spoken. She's family-orientated. She has good values. She looks after herself. You feel like you've hit the jackpot and you couldn't be happier. You would almost say that you're punching and that you're lucky to have her. Everything's going great, but then a few months later, something changes. She starts acting weird. She starts being distant. She isn't as interested anymore. She doesn't want to sleep with you. You catch her looking at other guys. What's happened? What I've just described there, I have seen play out so many times with myself, friends, family, where they meet this really great girl. She seems like the best thing ever. They say they're punching, they couldn't do better, but it never lasts. And why doesn't it last? Well, because the guy who's seen her most likely hasn't had enough experience. When it comes to dating women and becoming exclusive with them, I don't think you should even consider this until your body count is at a certain number as a man, until you've had a certain amount of experience. Why is this? Well, who are the men who are the most happy in a relationship? It's the men with the abundance, the men who have had the most girls, they've gotten the most girls, and they've had their pick of women. They've chosen the girl they want to be with. And this is important for several reasons. When you're dating girls and when you're trying to find a wife, most guys haven't had much experience. Most guys will settle for the first girl that comes their way because they're so desperate for intimacy, a connection, and just an experience with a real life girl. Most guys haven't had that. We're seeing a massive issue in society now where there is a large group of men who are sexless, a large group of men who don't get women, and this is becoming more and more common. Even a man who maybe is 6 or 7 out of 10, he is now struggling to get women because the women on his level have so many more options that mean he is virtually invisible to her. So these guys, they meet a girl, they think, finally, I've met a girl, someone I can wife, someone I can settle down with. She's good enough. She's not perfect, but she'll do. And what happens? It crumbles 3, 4, 5, 6 months later. These relationships don't seem to last. And I truly believe this is because that man has not had enough experience. See, when you are a man of a certain value, of a certain caliber, you put yourself in a position where you have access to a lot of women, where you have your pick of women, where you can sleep and date who you want, when you want. And this does a number of things. Firstly, this gives you an abundance mentality in that you know you have unlimited options. You can choose who you want. You don't have to put up with bullshit from a girl because if she pisses you off or disrespects you, you move on to the next. You don't have to put up with that behavior if she isn't willing to change. It also gives you the confidence and the aura to know that if this didn't work out, it's fine. I would meet somebody else. And these are the things that guys struggle with the most. They go into these relationships knowing they don't have any options, knowing that this girl is probably the only girl that they're going to meet for a long time, the only girl that they can attract for a long time. So what do? They put all their eggs in one basket. They try and please her. They try and keep her happy. They do everything possible to keep her sweet. And that inevitably pushes her away. In order to be the guy who is able to attract multiple women, you have to become a certain man. You have to acquire certain skills. The men who are capable of these things, they're in good shape, they're attractive, they're confident, they're socially competent, they know a lot of people, they generally have a lot going for them, which is why they are so attractive and are able to do what they do. Essentially all the things that the average man is not. Think back historically. Which men were the men who were able to have multiple women, have their pick of women, do what they want when they want with these girls? These were the men who were the kings, the most powerful men in society, because what does that signal? That you are a man of status, that you have something about you. And whatever you may believe, if you are dating a girl and she knows that you have access to multiple women and could attract who you want when you want, nothing will make you more attractive to her than those things. She will not want you more than when she knows she's competing against other girls for your attention, for your intimacy, because whatever you believe and whatever fairy tale bullshit you've been taught, women will share the high value man with multiple women before they have the loser beta guy to themselves. Without sounding like an arrogant dickhead, I have been in this scenario multiple times now where I have dated girls where they have asked me to be exclusive and I've said no, I don't want to be exclusive. You're welcome to walk and leave. You don't have to stay with me. But more often than not, they kept seeing me knowing that I was sleeping with other girls. And girls will tell you they won't do this, they won't put up with this behavior, but when you are a certain guy, they will do those things, trust me. In many ways, I think that it will turn them on more and excite them more, knowing that you have options, yet you choose to spend your time with this girl. Do you think girls want the guy who's always available, who has no options, who doesn't have much going for him, who will do what she wants, when she wants, who will try and please her, give her all these gifts and all these nice things? Do you really think she wants that? No, she wants the guy who doesn't really give a fuck about her, who has stuff more important than her, but yet still chooses to occasionally spend time with her. That's what she wants. She doesn't want the loser. And you might argue that social media has made things far easier, has made women more accessible. People can now sleep with each other far easier. It's easier to meet up with somebody through like Instagram, dating apps and whatever else. Yeah, that's true. But what it has done, it's increased the margin between the people who are having regular sex and the people who aren't. So now the average man has even fewer options because the options that he previously would have went for, they're now gone. They've been taken by the higher value men, the more attractive men, who can now reach out to the girl that he would have went for through Instagram. So all social media and dating apps have done is increase the gap between the man who is having sex regularly and the man who can't attract any women. Because once upon a time, you didn't have to have a lot going for you to have a family, to attract a partner, to attract a good woman. You could be your average Joe with your average salary, with your average ambitions, because that's all they knew. They didn't know what the rich people were doing. They didn't know what world existed beyond their small little town or their city, because they couldn't see it posted online. Whereas now, we're in a world where everybody knows what everyone's doing. Everybody knows what cars you drive in, what house you live in, the lifestyle you have, the clubs you go to, the clothes you wear. We all know this stuff now. And if people know this world exists, and a girl's given the option of average Joe or a successful guy who has a lot going for him, can fly her out to wherever, whenever, give her this luxury lifestyle, which is she going to go for? And it's not her fault, because naturally she will go for the high value guy. Why wouldn't she? But where does that leave the average Joe? That leaves him fighting for scraps. If you are the average man in the 21st century, you do not have a choice but to have an abundance of options and an abundance of experience. You have to be the guy who can at least bring something to the table, which is experience. If you're not going to bring 6 figures a year to the table, or you're not 6 foot tall, you're not in the best shape, you have to at least have slept around a lot, enough to know that you can attract a partner. You know what a good woman is like because you now have a reference. You dated the women who don't tick enough boxes, so now you know what a good woman looks like. And the average number of men that a woman has slept with is going up and up and up. So if you're the guy who slept with 2 people, 3 people, maybe you've had one long-term relationship and 2 little flings, but she slept with 10, 15, 20 guys, do you think you're going to compare? Do you think you're going to know what to do? Do you think you're going to be able to compete with these guys who had slept around far more than you had far more experience, far more confidence as a result of that? When you look at this, you really only have one choice, but to become the guy who gets girls, to become the guy who has his pick of girls, the guy who has had an abundance of options. Don't know how to become that guy? Book a free call in my description below, and I will turn you into that guy.